What's up, DJ Nihilist here. I'm with Jack the Human.
Hello, hello.
We wanted to have a little conversation because Jack recently released a full-length album, his debut, I believe.
It was indeed, yes.
Yeah, and I heard it and I was super impressed. I can't overstate how much this interview was out of like pure passion. Like I really do think that the project is amazing, and I want to like get it out there for people. But before we really dive deep into that, let's talk about your history as a producer. So you've been around for a minute. Looking at your social media, it looks like you kind of came into the game a few years ago as like a rhythm artist. Is that correct?
Yeah, essentially, when my old project, Jux, it's funny to think about now, but I started making music, like, I used to go to Webster Hall a lot in Basement Saturdays, and, like, that's where I grew up, and, like, me and, like, Cot Dubs and Symbiotic and Ranga and all those the Sewer Sessions dudes, like, and everyone in Basement, like, we're all starting making music around then, or I don't know, I don't want to speak for other people, but I know that was like a little crew of people making music, and it was all dubstep at that point, and now word rhythm is bastardized as fuck, but I don't.
Yeah,
that's topic for a different story. But yeah, essentially, it's like we were making like stripped down like dubstep, just with emphasis on the rhythm and like to be able to DJ fast and like mix tunes together. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how it started, and then things have changed a lot since then and evolved a lot. But
so
yeah, that was like 10 years ago.
10 years ago. Wow. Okay,
yeah.
Great. Wow. So yeah, you've been at
Crazy.
this for a while. So at what point did you rebrand to Jack the Human?
Probably, I'd say that was about 5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
during school, towards the end, when I kind of started to experiment more with stuff and like just make a little different things, and I didn't want to like I kind of evolved past that project, you know.
Yeah, no, sometimes you just, a sound starts to become less interesting, or you want to just experiment with other things.
Exactly.
And sometimes it is just nice to have just like a fresh, clean palette.
Exactly. Like that's part of it. Totally is I wanted to just like restart almost, and I became like a better producer, and so I wasn't like, but like I'll always have love for the old stuff that you make, as
of
you
course,
should.
Yeah. It's all about your journey.
Exactly.
But yeah, so now you're Jack the Human. Your name actually comes or has influence or inspiration from Adventure Time. So I'm curious. That show must mean a lot to you. I'm curious, what you get from that show, and if there's any messages or themes that you try to carry into your music career or just your life.
Definitely, and that's a great question. I mean, the name itself, kind of originally, I wanted to just have a different project, and like I was trying to, it's so hard to think of a name, It was like two things. It was kind of like, everyone's so like flashy and showy, and like, that's not really me. And I was kind of like thinking like, how to make a name that's not like crazy and just exemplifies like what I want to do. And it's like we're all human, just like making music, and we're all have something to show and are all similar but vastly different at the same time. And it's like I just wanted the project to be about me and like a relation of what is going on in my head, and like just Jack the Human, you know what I mean? So like simple, not like no like showy gimmicky bullshit, just like whatever, I'm a human. Definitely. And this is my music. But then also like Adventure Time is a super big influence too. I fucking love that show, and also like it comes off as a kid's show, but there's so many underlying themes in that show. It's ridiculous.
So I'm on TikTok all the time now, and I just see like a 30-second clip that puts me in an existential crisis.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy, dude. And it's like, yeah, I mean, honestly, a lot of that show is like just finding the light through the darkness. You know what I mean? Like that show is literally about a post-apocalyptic like world where he's the only human left. You know what I mean? Which it's obviously a lot more than that, but it's like, yeah, just finding the silliness and like when you find something that you care about or like that you love and gives you hope, and like that's what life's about, So just
Absolutely.
There's definitely a lot of themes in that show that portray in my life as well. But
100%.
yeah, I love that show.
It's a classic.
It's a banger.
It's a classic. So you've been following your light. You've been really focusing on the humanity of the project and focusing on what's true to you and what just following your own passion. So
Yeah.
that really brings us to your album, which is an amazing collection of songs. It's
Thanks,
in
dude.
my opinion pushes a lot of boundaries, and it's just most importantly it's very emotional. It captures emotion
Yeah, sure
beautifully,
is.
which is what music's all about. So let's talk about the album. When did you start creating it, and at what point did you know it was going to be a full LP?
Yeah, that's a good question. I started. Well, actually, the first song is actually the first song that I started making is actually the last song on the album. But I believe summer 2021, so a little over a year ago, is when I started writing that song. And then I don't think I knew at that point that I wanted to make it into an album.
Mm-hmm.
I just started writing a lot of songs, which meant a lot more to me. Some things happened, and I was like overloaded with creative output and essentially just writing a ton of songs. It was like, fuck, I need to do something with this, you know? And just over the year, I was like, all right, I'm making an album. And then it started with 19 songs to 8 to 15 to 9 and landed on just 10 songs, you know? But I was like,
So
this is too long.
There's
Is
a lot
this
on the
like...
cutting room floor then.
Exactly.
It's definitely been, so it's been
Oh,
been a
definitely.
it was a process of crafting it into an album towards the end. How did you choose the songs that
Just
made
tough.
the final cut?
Yeah, no, that's the tough part about it too, is because they're like, you know how it is, like your songs are your babies, and especially like with this project, like that's what I was like, I want my songs to be meaningful and like for me to have like intrinsic value to them, but also still have them be fun, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
not just be crying on the track, you know? Like,
Yeah,
but,
no, the tracks are very danceable, but like I said, they're very emotional too. So I do think you find that balance really well.
Thanks, man.
And yeah,
Seriously,
it's
that
great.
means a lot.
It's really interesting to hear that there's a lot of like stuff that didn't make the album because it is such like a cohesive project. It really feels like a journey from start to finish.
Dude,
so
thank you, for real.
yeah, just hearing that it was kind of like almost like a sculpture that you kind of chipped away at.
Exactly.
It's very interesting.
Exactly. That's exactly how I would explain it, because it's tough. It's like cutting down some of them, like, oh, this song should be on here, and then also ordering them. You know, you're like,
yeah,
I don't know, it just
the album process
came over time.
making
You
an
know,
album, that is intimidating to me. You know, I put out an EP last year, it was 5 songs, and
which is fire.
thank you. But that alone was like a whole process. You know, I feel like EDM in general is very like singles and like 3-5 song EP driven. So
dude, nowadays, especially, it's
with the
like
attention spans of people, like TikTok
crazy.
and Spotify and all that, it's definitely very singles driven. So
It's crazy.
the album's kind of a lost art, especially in EDM. So
I had that thought. Don't worry. While I was making it, I was like, no one's gonna give a shit about this. Like 10 songs, like, because everyone just like is so on to the next one these days, you know. But I was like, fuck it, you know. It's for me. It's not for. I mean, I love you if you listen to it, but it's like music is for me as an outlet, you know what I mean, and like therapeutic. So I was like, I don't care if anyone listens to it. I'm gonna make this album, you know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's where you.
But it's great. I'm grateful if people listen to it. Thank you.
No, 100%. I'm sure many people will have been enjoying it and will continue to. But yeah, music should be, you know, something that is cathartic to you, and this album is definitely something that clearly is that. So talking about the themes of the album, you know, they kind of seem to focus around like love, loss, like isolation and self-reflection. So you've talked a bit about it already, but I'm curious just about the journey you've kind of went through with this album, the kind of person you were before it and who you grew into it towards the end, you know over the year or so that you said you made it.
Yeah, man. heaters right now. Good ass questions. It's definitely been a journey since the beginning, but I'd say I learned a ton about myself and about not placing too much value on things you can't control, and without getting too deep, but yeah, I mean, I learned a lot about myself as a producer and as a person, and started singing on songs, which is like terrifying in itself. So
100%.
like, yeah, I've just learned a lot, and I think it's been a really good and not only therapeutic but like learning experience for myself, you know, and just as a producer, like learned a lot, you know, and all those themes you said are definitely present,
Yeah.
definitely present throughout the whole thing, but try to keep it like cohesive and not too out of the blue, you know, and like, because it is bass music, I still want it to be like fun, but also like be able to provide meaning to people if they need it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, if you want to find deeper meanings in the songs, then like fuck yeah, but if not, fuck it, just dance to it, you know? Like,
Definitely. Yeah, I kind of like how all the themes and ideas are just kind of like sprinkled, you know, a little bit. You have like a verse here, or you have just, you know, a few phrases here or there.
yeah,
You know, so it really, like you said, kind of helps pull it together as like an album that's still very focused on the production, but has those kind of messages.
right, yeah, like
on it
even
as well.
like on one of the singles called Postcards, like it's a halftime tune, but then at the end it was like, oh, make this glitchy, like kind of like hyper poppy like ending, you
I
know,
love
and it
that
like
part, yeah.
almost like melancholy ends it out, where, but it, I don't know, provides more feeling. But then also the beginning of the song is like just fun, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
So yeah, you just mentioned you know you were doing vocals for the first time with this album.
Yeah.
So that was actually going to be one of my questions. Yeah, the vocals across all the albums, as you kind of mentioned here, there, or hinted at in this interview, it's what really kind of makes the album special for me. Like it really, like I said, hurts the theme and gives it a unique sound. So this, you said it was your first time doing vocals. What kind of inspired you to do that, and then what was the process kind of like learning, you know, to use that instrument?
Dude, good question. It was terrifying singing on shit for the first time, you know, but there was a point when I started writing the first song, which ended up the last song, but where I was just like, fuck, I can always make dubstep or make drum and bass, but like I want to give these more feeling, you know? And I like write a ton of music, not just bass music, and like honestly what I listen to mostly is like Midwest emo, like punk, pop punk, and like metal.
That
and
that
like,
is the punk influence is very clear with all the vocals on this
sick.
album.
Good shit. But and then like a lot of random stuff like hyperpop and digicore
Yeah.
too. So it's like I was like, how do I needed another way to like express myself on these songs, you know? And I was like, fuck it, singing is the only way that I can do this. So, and I hate my own voice, so like figuring it out took a while, that's for sure. But it came to a point where I was just like, fuck it, like I'm not gonna like make samples and then like use a voice emulator to like do the say the words for me, you know? I'm just gonna fucking sing it. So whatever. I learned how to use like vocal plugins that, I mean, not just autotune, but like in a way that can be extreme but also subtle if I want it to. Like, you know, like definitely there's some ones where I'm like crazy autotune on there, but like you said, using your voice as an instrument was a whole learning process, because there's so much versatility you can do. Like, fuck it, distort the shit out of it and scream, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Sometimes you don't even need to know what the words are saying.
Yeah, exactly. Like it does. There's so many ways you can use it as an instrument, which is so cool to me.
Yeah.
So started to do that, and yeah, it was helpful too, because I could like I write a lot of poems and lyrics, so it's like this is how I can get it out on my songs.
So you were writing poetry prior to this album. Is that
Yeah.
the way you like to express yourself?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely don't show it to anyone.
Yeah.
But
I hear that.
except select few people. But yeah, I've always been writing stuff, and there's this kid, Tie-Dye Kai also influenced the hell out of me for sure.
Tie-Dye Kai's amazing.
And then this kid Underscores is like an incredible producer and musician that I found their music sometime last year, and it was just like demolished me. I was like, oh my god, what is this like? And that helped influence me to like realize that I can use my voice to like help my productions say what I want to say,
Yeah, definitely. I've never, you said Underscores?
Underscores, yeah, that's
never
their
heard
name.
of them. I'll have to check them out.
They're sick.
Yeah, I mean, because
I'll send you some shit after
definitely.
this.
I want to hear it because that kind of like vocal, self-produced vocals is really, I feel like, becoming more common in bass music right now. Like you said, Tie-Dye Kai is amazing. There's people like Fox Stevenson, Charles
exactly.
R.I.P. But yeah, so. And even back in the 90s, there were people like the Prodigy and stuff doing something similar. So it's this is kind of just, in my eyes, like the new frontier of it.
Exactly. And like Prodigy, it's like you don't like there's so many things you can do, like distort the shit out of your vocals and then like use them for licks or for hooks, like and like everyone as humans, like we gravitate towards words, you know what I mean? And that's just how it is. So.
Yeah.
Whatever. And if I want to make a sample that I can't get cleared or whatever, I'll just say it myself or something. It's obviously not the same, but
Yeah, I mean, people do that all the time, in the industry. But
yeah, vocals are becoming so much more like accepted. I feel like even because you can still make a banger with vocal track on it. It doesn't matter really. So yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting. I'm really excited to see like where the scene and the music landscape is in a few years, once these artists make like a bigger impact,
right?
And it's great that you're there carrying the torch with it as well.
Cheers, man. Good luck.
But yeah, so like I said, the vocals, the songwriting on the project is amazing. The vocals on the project are amazing. The production is amazing.
Thanks.
I just really want everybody to go listen to it. But
thanks, man.
Regarding
cheers, brother.
You said you talked a lot about altering your vocals and using it as an instrument. So with the songs themselves, I feel are all super intricate. Like there's a lot of changes in them and a lot of details, small moments. So I'm curious, just like how long do you feel each song took? Was it kind of like you kept going back to them, or was it kind of you banged them out quickly? Is there like, because it just seems like there's a lot of attention to detail on each track.
Yeah, for better, for worse. Psychopath with attention to detail, but I guess as producers, that's like what we do, Yeah. But definitely a lot of psychotic nitpicking and trying to make it sound good, because also like, yeah, it's terrifying putting vocals on songs for the first time, and I was just like, I had to reach a point where it's like, all right, fuck it, this is what I want to do, and I don't care how different it is, or if people are like, oh, I'm not gonna play this in a club, whatever. It's not about that right now, Can always make bangers, but
yeah,
like wanted to make songs that have more value to me and hopefully can for other people. But
exactly,
yeah, dude, it took a long time. Some songs, yeah, there's not one song that I was just like, oh, I just banged that out, what I mean? Like Postcards, the 7th song, is like one of the singles, is the one that I finished the fastest from start to finish, but still was like took months of like going back to be like, nah, this is trash, and then like go back, re-record my vocals and try and do it in a different way, or like just find out what to do that will make it sound cohesive, But honestly, most of them, and I also procrastinate terribly, so
oh yeah, I'm a procrastinator. I know that feeling.
Finishing the songs, and it was also just like nerve-wracking to put it out, so I'd say a lot of me went back and forth on most of it, honestly, and then even the singles, I'd finished Still in Love with You, and then Postcards, and put them out, and then I was like, there's more I want to do with these. I shouldn't have put them out yet, but whatever. It's all good.
You know, that's the thing with just making art is you got to know when to let it go.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know,
and
like you said, everything is there are babies, so it's like even with
Exactly.
parents, you know, they might leave the house at 18, but you still want to.
yeah, you're like, well, can I edit that? Or like,
exactly.
and like also at the end too, I wanted the album to like flow into each other well. So like with all the samples and all the things at the end of the song that like lead into the next song, like stuff like that. I'm just nitpicking and like adding more and more, and you know.
No, trust me, that's the stuff that's worth it in the end, because again, it's what makes it a journey and an experience for people. So I hear the seamless thing. I did that with my EP too. It's like it's just it's perfect, you know. But
I love that when albums like flow into each other like perfectly, and you're like, wow, that was a journey. Like,
I know,
sick.
It's the best. So yeah, it's been a process, but you definitely, in my opinion, hit all the check boxes, you know, and the project's out in the world now. And you've actually, you know, you played a couple of shows since the album release. So what has it been like playing these songs live for people?
Terrifying. But yeah, I'd say it's pretty scary. And I was thinking about that a lot too while writing it. It was like, fuck, dude, I have to sing these songs now. And shouts to my boy Honeycomb. He was like, yeah, dude, can't DJ anymore, like full Ableton project, like you full singing, like I don't know about that yet, but like, dude, so it was terrifying, like being like, all right, I have to sing these songs for people and perform them for people. So yeah, scary, but it's been fun, and reception has been really good, and it's always good to have some homies in the crowd. You single them out, and just when you're singing, just kind of look at them and be like, you know, or
yeah, I do that with DJing too. It's just like you just gotta just find that person, just
boom,
you know,
folks, you're getting this song.
But
it's been fun, and like I said, I've been trying to like keep them still dance floor friendly, you know. So even if I just like, obviously some of them I'm not playing in my DJ sets right now, but like that's fine. And some of them I sprinkle in for a little bit, do the hook of it, or like play the like part where I'm singing and then mix into a different song, you know. So
yeah, just being creative with it.
Exactly. I've been like getting better at figuring out what exactly like do, like what lane I'm going in, you know.
Yeah, no, it was cool. I mean, I was there for the Dirt Monkey show. I dropped the ball, didn't get any footage, but I was there, and I definitely do think that I recognized the song. It was cool hearing them sprinkled in.
Cheers,
you know?
Man. Good looks.
But yeah, I'm excited, you know, for you to continue pushing this sound, and continue presenting it to people, and hopefully, I'm excited for what comes next. So, what do you have coming? Anything you want to let people know, or
thanks, man. Cheers.
Anything's coming up? You have in mind?
Been writing a lot of music still, and like I was saying before, just kind of like making this album helped me like find what lane I'm trying to go to, but not fully there yet, but it helped me unlock like what I want to be, or like what I want to do moving forward, and like what music I want to make and share with the world. So like definitely be singing on a bunch of stuff still, and been writing a ton of drum and bass, which love, always gonna love.
Drum and bass forever.
Yep, gang. But like singing on a bunch of those tunes too, and like kind of now that like getting this album out was really good for me to grow, and then also not just as a person but as a producer, but then also like now I'm like, all right, cool, I can figure out how I want to relay this message, but then still have it be a fucking banger, you know what I mean? Like, and then there's gonna be times when I don't want to do that and I want to just play guitar on a song and release that, you know, which is fine. But shows are always gonna be fun, and DJing and get people get down, but just a little slightly more emotional and singing and more interactive, I guess, you know.
Definitely. Can't wait to see more of it. Let people know where can they find you, how they keep up with the stuff you got coming out.
Spotify, Jack the Human, SoundCloud, Jack the Human, Instagram, Facebook. Catch me on there. Catch me around. I don't ever use TikTok, which I should,
That's
but
fine. It's
I'm trying.
TikTok is.
I just be making music. But check it if you like, if you
Yes,
want
sir.
to, you know.
Yes, sir. We'll have all the links down below in the description. Jack, thank you so much. It's been a great interview. It's been so
My
fun
dude.
talking about this.
Cheers, man. Thank
hell
you.
yeah.
Cheers, brother.
Fucking can't wait to get this out.
Much love, man.
Yes, sir. All right,
Thanks,
peace, y'all.
everybody. Much love.